Allen Iverson was one of the most explosive players in NBA history that ever touched the basketball court. Despite being only 6 feet tall and weighing 165 pounds, he was tough, fast, and never afraid of the biggest moments. He was the smallest player to ever win the Most Valuable Player award and has won the scoring title 4 times in his career. He was also an 11-time All-Star, a 3-time All-NBA First-Team selection, a 3-time All-NBA Second-Team selection, and a 1-time All-NBA Third-Team selection. He led the Philadelphia 76ers to the NBA Finals in 2001 but was beaten by eventual champions Los Angeles Lakers in 5 games. But with all of his accomplishments on the court, his off-the-court baggage and controversies followed him throughout his whole career. In 1993, at just 17, Iverson was involved in a now infamous bowling alley brawl. He was the only one charged and has spent 4 months in jail. He was eventually granted clemency and was released following a nationwide uproar. He was almost traded to Detroit via a 4-team trade in 2000 because he frequently clashed with his coaches, particularly Larry Brown, on how he should approach the game. The trade was nixed at the last minute because Matt Geiger refused to forfeit his $5 million no-trade clause. His cornrows, tattoos, and baggy shorts sent shockwaves to older fans but became a cultural phenomenon to the younger ones. But that same authenticity has also led to the NBA, particularly David Stern, to institute a dress code in 2005, emphasizing the need for NBA players, who earn CEO-like salaries, to wear game day clothes appropriately or close to it. That dress code has led to the NBA fashion revolution of today. His now legendary practice rant in a press conference after the Sixers were beaten by the Boston Celtics in the first round of the 2002 playoffs further fortified the media and fans' impression of him as being unprofessional and a consistent headache to any clubhouse. His incessant spending and his eventual financial struggles after his retirement were well reported through the years. He was a rebel, and he owned it. His unapologetic honesty spoke for a generation that felt unheard, breaking down barriers and challenging the old guard's perceptions of what an NBA superstar should look like, talk like, or even dress like. Today, we're going to take a look at the life and career of one of the most electrifying basketball players of all time. We're not just looking back at the stats. We're diving into the raw and unfiltered story of the answer. From the unforgiving streets of Hampton, Virginia, to the bright lights of the NBA Finals, we'll explore the life, the struggles, and the unparalleled impact of one of the most polarizing athletes of all time. AI's story begins not in a mansion, but in the projects. He was born on June 7, 1975, and was raised by his 15-year-old single mom. His biological father walked out early, and his mother worked multiple jobs to keep food on the table. His upbringing was tough, marked by poverty and violence. Basketball wasn't just a sport, it was a potential lifeline. But what many don't know is, before he was a basketball prodigy, he was also a rising football star. A dual-sport athlete, he quarterbacked Bethel High School to a state championship. Imagine the athleticism required for that. But just as his star began to rise, it almost vanished overnight. The 1993 bowling alley fight almost resulted in Iverson almost serving prison for 15 years. He was then granted clemency by Virginia Governor Douglas Wilder because of insufficient and shaky evidence and was eventually released after serving 4 months in jail. Obviously, many schools were scared of accepting him because of the incident. But not Georgetown legendary coach John Thompson. He saw past the headlines and took a chance on Iverson. He offered Iverson a scholarship, and in 2 seasons with the Hoyas, Iverson became a national star. He was electric. He averaged over 22 points per game, won Big East Defensive Player of the Year twice, and led Georgetown to the Elite Eight. His speed, fearlessness, and ability to blow past defenders was unlike anything college basketball had seen. But even then, Iverson knew he was destined for the next level. He declared for the 1996 NBA draft, and history was about to be made. The hype leading up to the 1996 draft was immense. Everyone knew that something special was coming. On June 26, 1996, the 76ers, a franchise mired in mediocrity, selected Iverson with the first overall pick. It was a new era, not just for Philly, but for the NBA. The 1996 NBA draft was legendary. A draft class that included the likes of Kobe Bryant, Steve Nash, Ray Allen, and Stephon Marbury. Any one of those guys were potential number 1 picks, but the Sixers chose the 6-foot, 165-pound Iverson instead. The smallest player ever taken first overall. The weight of expectations on those slender shoulders were enormous. He wasted no time showing the world who he was. He delivered from day one. His rookie year was a whirlwind of jaw-dropping moments, none more iconic than his crossover on Michael Jordan, one of the most replayed moves in NBA history. A fresh-faced rookie, going at the GOAT. It wasn't just a move. It was a statement. I'm here. And I'm not backing down from anyone. In his rookie season, he averaged 23.5 points and 7.5 assists and won Rookie of the Year, putting up numbers no one expected from a player his size. Iverson wasn't just changing the way the game was played, he was changing how it looked. He wore cornrows, arm sleeves, headbands. He brought hip-hop culture to the NBA in ways the league had never seen. And it wasn't always welcomed. Critics called him a bad influence. But to millions of kids, Iverson was real. He didn't pretend to be polished or perfect. He brought himself to the court and made others feel like they could do the same. The 2000-2001 season was peak Iverson. He and Marbury led the severely overmatched Eastern Conference All-Stars to victory against the heavily favored Western All-Stars in one of the most electric All-Star games in history. He averaged 31.1 points per game and led a gritty Sixers team to a 56-26 record. He was named NBA MVP, the shortest player ever to win the award. He beat Vince Carter's Toronto Raptors and Glenn Robinson's and Ray Allen's Milwaukee Bucks in the Eastern Semifinals and Eastern Finals, respectively, on their way to the NBA Finals. Against the dominant and seemingly unbeatable Los Angeles Lakers, led by Shaquille O'Neal and Bryant, Iverson willed Philly to a Game 1 victory with 48 points, including his legendary step-over on Tyronn Lue. The Sixers lost the series, but AI's performance cemented his status as a warrior. Pound for pound, the toughest player in the league. In 2002, following a disappointing season and rumors of being traded, Iverson gave the world his most infamous moment.
We sitting here, I'm supposed to be the franchise player, and we're in here talking about practice. I mean, listen, we talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice.
The press conference went viral long before viral was even a thing. But behind the soundbite was a deeper pain. Iverson had lost his best friend, was under intense scrutiny, and felt disrespected by the media. Over the next few years, injuries, conflict with coaches, and changing league dynamics led to AI's decline. But he never backed down. In 2006, he was traded to the Denver Nuggets, pairing with Carmelo Anthony, creating an explosive duo in Denver. But the team's success was short-lived, ending in a first-round gentleman sweep at the hands of the San Antonio Spurs in the first year that they made the playoffs together and a first-round sweep against the LA Lakers the following year. Short stints with the Pistons, Grizzlies, and a brief return to Philadelphia followed. The game had changed, and Iverson couldn't find a permanent home. He eventually played overseas in Turkey, a clear signal that his NBA days were over. He officially retired in 2013. No championship. No fairy tale ending. But a career still unlike any other. At the height of his career, Iverson was one of the highest paid athletes in the world. Between NBA salaries and endorsements, especially his lifetime deal with Reebok, he earned over $200 million. But AI didn't just make money, he spent it. He was known for traveling with a massive entourage, often 30+ deep. He bought houses, cars, jewelry, and partied like royalty. He tipped in the thousands, bought new clothes on the daily, and reportedly never wore the same designer outfit twice. At one point, he forgot where his car was parked in an airport, and instead of seeking the help of airport staff to help him find it, he ditched his car and then proceeded to the nearest car dealership to buy a new one. Iverson lived fast, and the money flowed even faster. As his NBA career declined, so did his finances. Lavish spending, poor investment choices, legal battles, and a lack of trusted financial advisors began to catch up with him. In 2010, AI's financial troubles became public. He was sued by jewelers, creditors, and landlords. At one point, a Georgia judge ordered the sale of his bank account to pay a six-figure debt. He wasn't technically bankrupt, but it was clear the money was gone. In court, he once claimed he had just $1,000 in his checking account. But there's a gleam of hope. In 2001, when Reebok signed Iverson to a lifetime endorsement deal, it includes a trust fund worth $32 million, locked away until his 55th birthday in 2030. It was a safety net, reportedly set up by his then-wife Tawana. So while he hit rock bottom at the latter part of his life, Iverson isn't broke forever. He's going to have his second chance. He is currently the vice president of basketball at Reebok, working alongside fellow Hall of Famer O'Neal, who serves as president. He continues to earn an annual stipend from the company, and that $32 million trust remains intact, a future payout that ensures he will have a chance again at a decent life. Today, Allen Iverson is more than a cautionary tale. He's a symbol of resilience. He's spoken openly about his mistakes, taken steps to rebuild his life, and is now celebrated as a cultural icon and basketball pioneer. From rags to riches to ruin and back again, AI's story isn't just about money and failures. It's about identity, loyalty, and learning the hard way. In 2016, Iverson was inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame. He finished his career averaging 26.7 points per game, 7th all-time. An MVP, a 4-time scoring champion, an 11-time All-Star, and a cultural icon who influenced a generation. From Steph Curry to Damian Lillard, AI's fingerprints are all over the modern game. But more than stats or titles, Iverson gave fans something more. Authenticity. Allen Iverson wasn't perfect. He wasn't always polished. But he was real. And in a world full of imitations, that made him one of a kind.